Hello, good afternoon. It's always a difficult time. Let's talk a bit about support. And if you have any specific incidents, a case that you would like to speed up, maybe not on stage, but as soon as I'm off stage, you can approach me and we can look into it. My name is Bernhard. I'm with SAP for 25 years, first and even before 2 years at the customer basis administration, it was called. And then I came to SAP Spain as a consultant in support. I was 2 years in Brazil, returned to support. And now I am the head of what we call support sales and procurement, support for S4HANA Private Cloud Edition, on-premise, ECC, everything like SD, LE, MM, selling and buying, CRM, SRM, and so on. And this means about 2,000 cases per week. 500 per day seems not so much, but 2,000 per week is a lot, times 50, a lot of incidents, a lot of cases per year. What I want to do today, 3 things. I want to walk through live demo, if everything works, to SAP4ME. Why? Because I want to show a little bit at which parts of the journey we also use now large language model AI, trying to support and to make the interaction with SAP4ME and SAP Support more effortless. Second, I'm open to ask any question, let's say more generic question about support, something that you want to know, something that always annoyed you, something that you never understood. Why do you do this in this or that way? It depends a little bit on your input and questions. And if there's time or if we don't have enough stuff, let's say, I'm happy also to share a little bit what we are doing inside support, what kind of metrics we use, how do we work with the feedback that you give us in the support interaction survey, also what projects do we have, what are we doing in terms of changes to try to be more ready for the future. Okay, first of all, SAP4ME. From the ones in the room, anyone has used SAP4ME, the support portal? Many of you, okay, that's good. Of course, change is always annoying, and the SAP One Support Portal Launchpad was not so old, to be honest. And internally, for us, we were also not so happy to change again to another support platform. For us, it's also an effort inside. Why did SAP do this? Well, if you see the jungle that we had that developed over the time, all the different portals from SAP.com, the partner, Trust Center, so many different sites in different layouts. There was no journey really end-to-end defined. It was in different places and so on and so forth. It was not really sustainable. So SAP decided to go to 3 places, let's say, in terms of digital presence. One, the public side, SAP.com, with information, well, of course, commercial information mainly, but also information about the company. Then SAP4ME for, let's say, the more technical functional interactions around support, around maintenance, licenses, systems, and so on and so forth. And then the SAP community as a more personal space. Yeah. These are the 3 pillars of the digital experience of SAP now. And I don't want to go too much into detail, a little bit of philosophy behind the SAP4ME. What was the situation before? Missing transparency, limited self-service, no or little possibility to customize, to personalize the site, and so on and so forth. And on the right side, the idea what should be the to-be state in the SAP4ME. And in terms of support, what were the main aims? First of all, well, it sounds like a very big term, omni-channel support. Basically, that you can use different channels. That means basically expert chat, the famous schedule expert session, but also the written case, but also from different media. You can start a process on your cell phone and then pick it up on your laptop in the browser. That is the omni-channel. Then, as I said, AI predictor services using large language models at different stages of the process, mainly the product prediction, then also the so-called product function prediction. Then we try, and we will see later, it does not really work too well. We try to suggest you a channel, whether you rather should use expert chat or case or another channel. Then, yeah, this is this so-called best action, where there's also an AI predictor behind. Suggest knowledge, yeah, in several stages we will walk through also here. There we have different things behind. One is in-house built, and one is also a company. We acquired a service from a company, it's called Coveo, specialized on searches in knowledge documents, also supported by large language models, AI. And yeah, the case list, to be honest, I would not like to go too deep into it. It took us a while to set it even productive. I have to admit, when I prepared the demo, it's not really a very nice user experience, but we are continuously improving, and I know also from the developer side what are the biggest pain points that they are trying to fix as soon as possible in SAP4ME. If there's any question or so, just raise your hand. We can quickly interrupt. Otherwise, let's try the demo. Many of you have seen the SAP4ME, so not so much here on the basic setup and design. Let's go into it. And I didn't do any fake cases. These are real cases. To be honest, they are relatively easy cases. I didn't want to now simulate a really complex case. Two cases, real cases that I cloned, let's say, also to remove any private or customer-specific data. And both cases were answered at the end with 1 or 2 KBAs, as you can see, and were closed. So they could have been avoided even, which is the best for you also, if you find the solution on your own. I mean, the best is there's no problem. Second best, you find the solution. Third best, you need our help, and we are fast. So let's try. Let's see if I can do it with the mic. Can I put the mic here? Maybe it's difficult, but let's try it. It's not so. So this is the SAP for me already in the services and support part. I would always recommend to use this search support knowledge part. This is the part where there's this new LLM-based Coveo search service behind. And I believe it's quite powerful. Well, I don't believe it only, we see it from the data. If you, for example, take this title here, there's a missing field in a Fiori app. Let's try it out. Here I need to use Opera because of the certificates and so on. I don't know why this field doesn't work in Opera. It works in Chrome, but this one works usually. Let's try. So let's put it in. Let's say search. Maybe it takes a while, so I also prepared this thing here in Chrome. This I can do it with my iUser also, but the rest has to be done in the, yeah. So here at least with my iUser, it works. You do the search, and you see here the first KBA missing. It's very clear, of course, also from the title. But it's really the first one that comes up. Okay, here it doesn't work, let's see. And it's the one that at the end also solves the case. But in this case, the customer did probably a different search, didn't search exactly with this title, and other nodes and KVAs were found, and we know it's kind of a jungle. There are many of them, but in the current situation, if you use really this knowledge search, you very often find really a good asset. Let me quickly check why it doesn't work in the Opera. Anyway, it doesn't matter so much. So let's go through what the customer would do. You say get support. You say report a new issue. Then, okay, this is only mainly in my case, or if you have different accounts, customers with one S user. Here you see this is of course a test S user. I choose an account. I put in the short description. And then I have to select the system, and maybe you have realized this is very important because all the machinery behind looks at the end into the system you have chosen. And with this, it already limits, let's say, the products for which solutions are searched. So if you have a problem in FI and S4HANA and you choose here a BO system, it will not work. And we have some issues with hybrid customers, with public cloud and private cloud, and you cannot change the system at a later stage, unfortunately. Once the case is created. Before the case is created, you can. So let's choose the right system. And now you see here these points. And now this has been the AI predictor. In this case, it seems very easy because the system was S4HANA. And S4HANA is one big product. But in other circumstances, a system which can represent different products behind, the product is chosen. And at the beginning, also the product function was chosen by an AI predictor, somewhere in May or so. You see it's not anymore predefined. Sorry, what has happened here? It is not predefined, preset, because the AI predictor has not the right confidence, unfortunately. From this title, missing BEPA kind field in Fiori app, it could, in my opinion, we should expect that it can predict the right product function, but it does not. What it does, it recommends. Also here, there's a little flaw because everywhere it says recommended, 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 recommended. That should not be the case. It should not recommend all of these product functions. It should choose one or two. And big discussion, this little clock here means it's also the recently used. In my previous case, I used this product function. So it's on top, but is this good that the most recently used is on top? Maybe if I have a UAT and all my cases are around a certain area or a certain Fiori app, then it's good that it promotes the most recently used. But if I work with different key users, one from finance, one from purchasing or so, it doesn't make sense that the most recently is promoted here. But at least now the system indicates this is on top because it's the most recent one. So be careful. Maybe if you have changed from one area to another, it's not the good one. Maybe another one would be good. As the problem is around a business partner field in Fiori, this makes sense. I mean, customers and business partners make sense, Fiori Launchpad makes sense. Well, let's choose this one, the one that was highest ranked. Okay, and you see now on the right side, it has started to also propose solutions. So also it's worth, and this right side, it also changes according to what we really provide as information. Okay, you are all aware of the priorities. I wouldn't go too much into this. You have maybe seen if you have created a very high now, it's more structured, the information that you give us. It's not so much a free text with pre-formulated questions. Let's keep it on medium. And now, yeah, it has chosen to propose a specific channel, this Ask an Expert Cheer channel. These are actually freelancers working for SAP, and they help to solve cases, but they can only solve cases that can be solved without getting to the system and based on KBAs or based on their knowledge. But as you maybe also know, only 5% of cases are new bugs. 95% of cases are not new bugs and could be solved actually by KBAs, help with experienced consultants. So they can in principle contribute a lot. This recommendation is coming also from an AI predictor. Actually, it tries to find out what could be the reason behind this problem. It's a bit tough, I think, because it only took this short text and the product function that we selected, one of the proposed ones from AI. But in this case, it's actually right, as we will see at the end, it's solved by a KBA. So it's not a code problem. It's okay. It could be solved by this Ask an Expert peer, which is relatively fast. And then it proposes alternative channels. We have learned, however, that since we have implemented this, customers more often do not choose what we propose. When we propose go for chat, they choose case. If we propose write a case, they choose expert chat. Which is also okay, because at the end it depends on your time. Because if you go for a chat, maybe you need 20 minutes of time. If you don't have so much, you maybe prefer just to throw over the case. So it's at the end also the customer, what communication style do you prefer, how much time do you have, and so on. Okay, here I will also use the traditional way, create a case. And now, this is now coming. This is what we call a support assistant tree. These are actually it's designed by experts trying to, like a branch or like a case tree, you remember from programming, to get a better feeling which category of issue this might be. And these are typical issues around the business partner and Fiori app thing. So it could be a number range, and this is different for each product function. There's a specific tree. And depending on what you choose, you can also have then sub-trees. It's like a branch. And also, depending on what you choose, of course, you get other proposals for solution, right? So here, apparently, as we miss a field, this is related to customer field settings. So let's choose this. And you get other recommended solutions. You see, this is a dynamic on the right side. So it's good to have an eye on this, because maybe we get the right solution proposed here. Unfortunately not. Yeah? Otherwise, you have also this expert search here. Okay, then here you can give more detailed answers, as you said. Actually, I don't have them. As a customer, I could now run these. Let's put in a detailed description. Okay, I copy again here from the real case. Oops, sorry. Just with one hand. Let's copy the description and put it here in. Okay. You see on the right side again, new proposals for solutions. And actually, no, it's the one that we need is not here. Yeah? This is the interesting thing. You remember when I used the title of the case here in this knowledge search, the right KBA came up first. Yeah? We need to work on this. If you do this flow of the case, on the right side you get proposed solutions. The right one so far hasn't been there. I give approval to reproduce, although I don't put here further details for how to reproduce. I just say continue. So I can also give attachments here. There is also, for some technology areas, there is another subflow, so you can even get recommendations which log files to add. And then behind the scenes, the log files are scanned. You can get another bunch of proposed solutions behind. But this in the application area, it's a bit challenging, because usually there are not really log files or so like in technology. So we just say continue. and then we have to select a contact here, or leave it as it is. We struggle often here with incomplete phone numbers, not having really the right contact. You know this, when one S user is used by 10 or 15 people, it gets more difficult to really reach out to the right person. Okay, good. Again, we get here new proposed solutions. And now look here, we get a component proposed. This is the first time we get a component. You remember in the past, the component was very much important at the beginning of the process. And we want to get away from the component tree because it's not manageable anymore. I don't know how many, 50,000, 100,000 components we have meanwhile, and especially to the, let's say, not so expert as user. We want to hide the complexity of the components. And this component is not bad, let's say. It's financial services, this is customer vendor integration, so it's around business partner. But it's not really the right one. Yeah. As we see in the case, the right one is Fiori BP. So also here, the predictor is not really correct. Yeah. As a customer now here, you can say, I don't trust the proposal. And at least here, the AI predictor, although it chose the wrong one, it chose the CA-FS-CVI, the second one is actually the right one from this KBA. Yeah, so we are close. Good. So I choose now, I'm a very smart customer. I choose the right one. And then it says, okay, if you choose this other component, there's a warning. Well, okay, fine. It adjusts a couple of things. And we can go, is this the right one? I'm just at the right upper corner, it was closed. No, because what is funny, it never brings up the one with the right number of the Fiori app. So there's a lot of improvement potential still. Well, Good. Okay. That was the demo part, so let's quickly move on. How are we in time? Are we over time? Or theoretically, it was 2 hours, right? I don't want to do too much. For me, is the biggest BTP in the universe. We don't know. So it has about 100,000 unique visitors per day, 1 million page views per day, and around 50 million self-services now implemented. Yeah, so sometimes I know customers ask, is there any high, say, BTP app that is really going to the edge in terms of performance and the stress and so on? It's this one. I always would recommend this as the reliable BTP app. Yeah, about the history, when we changed the portal, and there were pieces that really didn't work very well. We also suffered, especially the case management was not even implemented, and some of the AI predictors were really had to be trained. Now, as I said, the knowledge search, there is this company behind Coveo. We use their software, it's quite good. And now, of course, the future is more easy to implement, let's say, in terms of mobile support. There is now a mobile app, finally. It was always a big pain point that there was no mobile app for SAP Support. And there will be quite a new support reporting for customers that is being rolled out. And of course, we want as soon as possible to integrate GPT. Someone just said in the morning, like, oh, it's really much better now to support with the expert chat. You just reach out to a support expert. We are happy to provide this in our area. It's like 5% of the cases we can manage it. But you know how challenging this is if you receive a chat, it's an interruption. So if you have a debugging session of 1 or 2 hours in your life also, if you are interrupted, it's horrible. And this is what happens with chat. A very high, sometimes you can at least leave it there for 10-15 minutes or so until you pick it up. You can somehow close your session. But the chat, we try to pick a chat in 1 or 2 minutes. That means it's always an interruption. So we are happy to do it, but if it's an easy question, it's a kind of a pity also that we are interrupted, that an expert is interrupted by this. So for us, but also for you to even be faster and always have people available, of course we strive to integrate ChatGPT in a meaningful way. Yeah, this is a bit of glimpse, so I think this is the SAP4ME. Do 2 things. First of all, there's an Enterprise Support Day upcoming. If you want to know rather more about the future, where are we heading to? How do we want to support you with preventing? I would encourage you to join this Enterprise Support Day. So there is the link to the registration behind. You can also search it in there's one session that is especially interesting, this effortless support experience. So I encourage you to join it. And very quickly, just maybe you're interested, what are we measuring, what kind of metrics? It's also no rocket science. So you see customer effort score. So of course, what you tell us in the surveys is the most important metric for us. And our goal is 85% are 4 or 5. Yeah, I'm very happy or I'm happy with the amount of effort that I had to get a solution. Then the SLAs, of course, the backlog, solution share means what we solve in product support. This is also better for you because it's much faster than having to involve development. And then we measure, of course, the time, very highs and P1s, P2s. If you see us solved within 5 days, don't get crazy. This is including the customer time. So when it's really closed from your side, this is why it's such a high time. Most very high stay with us for about 4 hours in total. Yeah. And chat sessions, as I said, this is the coverage. You see it's relatively low, but we want to go for 90%. In 90% of the cases, when you come with a chat, we want to be able to accept it within a couple of minutes. Trends, also, of course, we look into trends. You see here, nothing is getting really much worse, or, well, it gets better in the SLA space, so this is the good news. It gets also better in the chat coverage. The backlog is going down a little bit. And then we do regular reviews of cases. Also wanted to share this with you. The support team managers, of course, have sporadic reviews of cases. There is a software behind that selects these cases. They have to judge how good is the customer orientation, how good is the process adherence, how good is the, let's say, the analytics to resolve the case. And on the right side, it's so-called support team coaches. This is about KCS. Yeah. Do the engineers really use the opportunities to create a KBA, to improve a KBA? Do they swarm? Do they talk to another expert to get the case solved and not throw it over the fence? And to finish, these are a glimpse. This is in my area, let's say the next level with my boss. What projects do we run to be ready and for the future? But I don't want to go into detail. It's about people, it's about prevention, it's about efficiency, and about minimizing customer effort. These are our 4 main goals. Good, with this I'm done. I guess questions, just reach out, come to me. I'm here at the back at the table, and I just go off stage to respect the next speakers. Thank you.